Hello, I'm Hannah Fox and I'm from Derby Museums. I'm here to show you around the Museum of Making as it is today, Wednesday the 27th of January. So, going to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes tour of making the Museum of Making. So here we are at the front of the building, and today we're putting in the gate posts for the Bakewell gates, those Grade 1 listed beautiful pieces that are coming back and being resited in their original site. In front of the building here, our workmen doing a grand job despite the circumstances. The entirety of the building is looking pretty fine, and the whole of the envelope of the building is complete now. What we're doing at the moment is groundworks on the exterior. Inside the Civic Hall, finishing off the preparations for the display cases on the left hand side, and yeah, you can see the clean of the internal wall has been completed. We've also fitted the wonderful Make Your Mark generous contributions from all the stakeholders and people who've helped fund that. The breakthrough then that you can go into the Italian mill, which is new. You can look into the Italian mill, which is going to be predominantly a venue hire opportunity space. Anyone wants to get married here or have an event, they can book out the Italian mill. But when it's not being used for that, it flips as a digital exhibition space. It has a fully fitted bar, which is also useful for our events, right? And then on the left and the right hand side, we've got new toilet spaces. Back in the Italian mill, looking up and just having another view of how those two spaces, the Italian mill and the Civic Hall, fit together. Civic Hall, we're going to have our River Kitchen Cafe. And then as we look through into that space, this is where the servery is of the River Kitchen, using a really beautiful material called Virock throughout the building, which is a sort of concrete finished board that is really super water resistant. Fully fitted kitchen, ready for all types of catering offer, whether it's sit-down meals or serving the cafe or the venue hire facilities. Looking back into the Italian mill from the old shop space, this is where our flatworks were going to be mounted, and we also have a digital interface for some of the flatworks that can't be displayed. Moving to the north end of the building, we have a new exhibition space for the Red Saunders pieces. And from that space, you'll be able to work into the Maker's Courtyard, which is an outdoor makerspace and is in a beautiful little spot that has just been laid the block work for. We've also been able to install, with generous support from the Connected scheme, a changing places facility for the city centre. In the workshop on the ground floor, we then have three spaces. Once you get through the vestibule with the grasshopper, you go into the first main space. Looking pretty cluttered and full of stuff at the moment, but is about to start being cleaned down and refitted. Full of equipment like welding tents, metalworking, we have a furnace, we have kilns, ceramics, jewellery making benches, you name it, this workshop can work in those types of materials. And then this really amazing CNC machine that has helped us do the fit out for the Museum of Making itself. Up on the mezzanine in the Civic Hall, we have the Trent engine hanging above the retail space and the welcome area. You can see this is being fitted out at the moment. We'll have a really wide range of retail options here. And you can look back down the Civic staircase into the Civic Hall and see how vast this space is. Moving into the Museum of Making's first gallery, this is the gateway. And this is the space where we'll introduce the story of the silk mill and also the World Heritage Site, and really set the context for why this building is here, why this site was important, and its relevance to the rest of the Derwent Valley Mills World Heritage Site as well. Moving from this space then past the river, which you can see is really high today, all the way through into and past the loom on the left hand side, where we've done a cut through in the ceiling, got an interactive on the right hand side, and then you move through into the throwing room, where we've got 10 pods that replicate and sort of respond to the shapes of the original throwing machines and tell a number of different stories, from industrial heritage through to Derby's relevance to the world, and through the collections as well. So it has a really beautiful display of collections. Throughout the building, we are also referring to the collections using their material type. So it's an interesting way to try and present collections too. And on the right hand side, this last pod is where we showcase Makers of Today. And opposite that, we have a wonderful installation by the artist Tony Bugbee. At the south end of this space is a meeting room that will be available for hire, and there is one above this as well that will also be available. And on the second floor, then we go into the assemblage, which is our mass open storage of all the collections that are not on display in the ground floors. And it's an open storage approach that we've tested with our communities, where we want to create as much access to the collections of making and social history as we possibly can. So how do you present all of these collections when they are so differing from each other? How do we create a common thread through them? Well, we've done that using the material types: metal, ceramic, wood, etc., textiles. These are the ways that we're actually going to present these all the way through this space. So they'll be sorted and presented in their primary material that they are made from. From this space, you're able to move onto the flight deck, which is a balcony bridge that takes an amazing view down the Civic Hall, also gives you a close-up to the Trent engine, and is a really beautiful place to be. On this floor too, we have the model railway. It's slow at the moment because our volunteers haven't been able to get in and work on it, but there's still work happening, and the incredibly skilled volunteers have been so committed to making this model railway happen. So we're looking forward to seeing it running. And the floor below here, we've actually got the studios too, which are our learning studios, amazing view to the Trent engine, and then fully fitted out 2 spaces that will be able to support our schools programmes, fully for 2 classrooms of 30, or 1 big space. On the 3rd floor, we've got 2 really important spaces. One is the new exhibition space called the Warehouse. Really wonderful exhibition space that enables us to bring in touring shows, but also present fantastic exhibitions in a highly controllable climate space. And then we also have the Prospect, which is a co-working hub for membership. If you want to become a member of the Prospect, you can also then be a member of the workshop space and get access to the co-working hub, and also access to the equipment downstairs in the workshop. Through at the front of the Prospect, then we have the view, and I think you agree, it's a beautiful view out onto the city, and access also to the tower for those people who want to go up there. And then this is the staff space, which is a new floor, the 4th floor we have put back into the building, and been able to actually introduce quite a good working space, but not detract from the public areas. So that's it, folks, a quick tour of the Museum of Making in January 2021. We're really hoping you're keeping safe and well, and we hope that we see you soon. Take care.